What is good, y'all? Paul K, Saturday Mornings Outdoors. Today we're going to do a quick review on monitoring DC current to light, and absolutely the top of the line equipment. Stay tuned if you're into this stuff and you just like listening to shortwave and scanner stuff. And let's go. So on these cold evenings, stuck indoors, all snowed in the winter, very interesting hobby is monitoring radio and shortwave radio and stations from all over the world and locally. And being a ham, my call sign is November Victor 1 Hotel. Been a ham for a lot of decades, and this is some of my favorite, pretty much portable equipment for monitoring literally DC current to light. And thereabouts, the spectrum that we use, or in commercial and police and fire and railroads and airlines and all that stuff use. So let's get started. This is the Sony 2010. This has been around for a couple decades, but it's still considered one of the best monitoring radios without a glitch that really works. It's an intuitive radio. The circuitry on it is extremely good for monitoring shortwave, and this covers 150 megs to 30 megs, or kilohertz rather, and it also does the aircraft band and FM radio, and but it's considered one of the best. You could probably buy these used. When they first came out, they were very pricey. I think they're around $700, but now you can buy them used at ham flea markets for a couple $100, I think, and it covers the whole shortwave spectrum. It's a beautiful radio. The audio is awesome. It's got all the technology that you would need to monitor shortwave. Sony 2010 also utilizes single sideband, upper sideband, and lower sideband, of course, which most better shortwave radios use, and it also has synchronous detection, which is when it first came out, this was one of the first radios that had it, and that's what made the price so high when it first came out. And what that does is, when you're listening to shortwave without synchronous, it kind of drifts in and out. With sync, it does not drift, and that's huge if you love listening to the shortwave radio. So you cannot go wrong with getting this. This is strictly for listening, and it is a beautiful radio to listen to the shortwave from the 150 to 30, and going from 30 kilohertz up to light, for the most part, and to top it all off, not only to light but to digital. This is the Bearcat Uniden SDS200. This is the top of their line flagship scanner, and why in the world would you want this? A lot of people say it's very complicated to mess with, and it's not. It's not at all. It just takes a little learning curve, and it works just like the old school scanners. Before that came around, everything was non-digital, and I've had this for probably 20, 25 years, however long this has been out, and this is the Radio Shack Pro 94, and that covered everything that I wanted. I could get police, fire, all the local town stuff, aircraft, railroads, everything that's put out there. If you look on frequency guides, it's pretty easy to figure out where all the stuff is allocated, and you put it on scan and this, and all scanners, and it'll find you the really cool channels. But anyway, things are changing most of the time. Now, these are not obsolete now, let's mind you. If you have standard scanners from 10 years ago on back, but most of the towns, especially state police, the good stuff that you want to listen to, the local police, a lot of the fire departments are going digital, and these do not get digital. So like this one gets trunking, but just simple trunking because it's an older model. On the other hand, this is an investment. They're really pricey, the Uniden SDS200. They're not hard to understand once you get the initial concept of how scanners work nowadays. And actually, there's a place called Bearcat Warehouse that will program these for you. and all you do is turn it on when you get it, and it'll work perfectly. But the audio on these are just stunningly gorgeous because it's digitized now.
Hospital 1321.
And being digitized, the old school scanners can't keep up now. They will just not get it. You'll just get a lot of garbage on the old school scanners. But the audio is amazing. That's why they're all going to digital. Now, on the other hand, a very few departments are getting scrambled. They don't want the public to hear what they're saying. Though I must admit, I'm from Boston, and the Boston police are kind enough to know that there's scanner enthusiasts out there. Not only scanner enthusiasts, but fire departments need to listen to the police and stuff like that. So they rebroadcast their scrambled signals so the public can hear it. They're just delayed. That's all. And I'm sure they edit what they don't want to go out there. You're not going to hear scrambled detective frequencies out to the public, even with a delay. So anyway, the point is that you have to upgrade your scanners today if you want to listen to all that stuff. Don't, like I say, don't discredit the old scanners. A lot of the towns have not switched over to digital, but eventually when your town does, this is the way to go. The reason is that, and that's why I say this is an investment, they're pricey. That's the bottom line with these. That's the only drawback of this. It works flawlessly, but being pricey is what hinders it. But it's an investment in the future. Once you buy this, especially if you're considering buying the S200, they sell them like this. You buy upgrades for them. You can buy the standard receiver, which is this, and you program it yourself. They have a program called Sentinel, and this one also has a program in it where you just put your zip code in, and you hook this up to your computer and go to Sentinel and just put your zip code in, and it will download every single thing that's in your county. But the problem is that once you put this on scan, you're going to get a lot of stuff that you don't really want. So that's not going to be simple. You got to get in the programs and block out the ones you don't want. You have to make lists and all that. So you have another option at Bearcat Warehouse. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but they really are a good company. They will take care of you. So for a nominal fee, they'll program whatever counties you want. Generally, wherever you're at, you get about, if you want the best, get 4 counties around where you live. All right. This can be hooked up to a GPS also. So you can mount this in your car or truck and ride around the country, and it will automatically track where you're going and hook you up with the best channels. That's how advanced this is. That's why it's the best scanner out there now. So anyway, if you go to Bearcat Warehouse, they will do. Also, another thing that brings the price up on this particular scanner is there's upgrades that you can get. And if you buy the basic scanner, it's around, I believe it's around $800 now. But they have different modes that the towns are drifting to, called like NXDN or Pro Voice, DMR, and so forth. And these are eventually going to be worked into all the agencies that are using these frequencies. So a lot of people will say, well, what would justify me getting that price if my town doesn't have it? The thing that's going to justify it is you're going to have to send them that radio, this radio, or whatever radio you have, to get that option when your town does, because they're all going that way. That's an excellent logical way to look at this. So if you get the upgrades now, just get over the pain of it. Fully loaded, you know, if you get there's a waterfall option, NXDN, the Pro Voice, the DMR, an upgraded memory card, fully loaded, I believe they're around $1,100. But, and then once again, you say, geez, it's just a scanner. Why in the world would I spend $1,100 on a scanner? Well, to justify that, and you can tell your old lady, the new iPhones are like $1,600, so it's cheaper than that. If it's something you enjoy and you want the best, and it's an investment, you won't have to buy another scanner for probably 30 years until they think of something like ESP or something. But it's a beautiful scanner, and it covers everything that you want in the old scanners, but it's digitized now. You have the beautiful audio. The audio is crystal clear because it's digitized, and they're all drifting that way. That's a standard. That's why you hear that hiss, because they're still standard. So between these two radios, absolutely you can cover everything that's available on the waves, and they're really, I'd say between the two, I definitely listen to more shortwave because I'm a ham radio operator, and all the cool stuff is down there. We operate up here in the scanner frequencies too, in our own 2 meter 440, all the way up. We have tons of subbands, but most of my stuff is down here. Antenna wise, what I run is, normally this is on an ICOM, it's an ICOM disc cone on the roof, and I get literally stations from 50, 60 miles away on regular days. That's regular ops. You know, I just have this, and it comes with it, the antenna hooked up just for showing you the display purposes. And on this one, the shortwave radio, I have a little bit of property, so there's literally a 1,500 foot long wire, just a simple long wire, and I pull in signals. You can just run a simple long wire, not an elaborate antenna. It's just a piece of wire that's hooked up to the back of that radio, maybe 30 feet long, and you can be good to go. But the longer the wire, the better your reception is going to be, and which direction you're facing is going to help too. So it's a 1,500 foot long wire normally when so disc cone on this one and the long wire on this one, and that's my monitoring stuff. Simple setup, and it will bring you a lifetime of enjoyment. It's worth the investment. It's a lot of fun. Of course, you can go the used way. These are selling, if you can find them used. Nobody wants to get rid of these. These are the cutting edge radios now, the SD200. But you can go that route, but you'll have to trust that they didn't abuse it. And but you don't have to go this high end. There's much less inexpensive models to get into this hobby. If you just want to listen, and it's really fascinating. Let me tell you some of the stuff that you can listen to. Literally, NASA, every single mission that goes up, they rebroadcast. And not that you're going to understand it, because I can't understand it, unless you're a super scientist, but you can hear every single transmission that they make from blast off to touchdown in the space shuttles. And they rebroadcast that. There's so many exotic things that you can listen to. You can listen to hams from all over the world talking, from very low power radios to high power contest radios. All kinds of news. I'm a Polak. If I'm from Poland, if I want to listen to Polish music, I can literally hear it directly from Poland. And it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, they all have their own broadcasting station. Another thing too, militarily, if you want to hear two countries' sides of a conflict, for instance, just say we're at contest with the moon, you can hear our Voice of America. That will be our propaganda side on our radio station, and you can hear the moon radio broadcast. And I didn't want to choose a country because I'm not going there. But you'll hear their propaganda. And then you can balance out between the two that way. And you can listen to all military. Anything that goes through the air, over the airwaves, is legal to listen to. Though you cannot, if you hear your neighbors gossiping, legally, I don't think you can talk about it. You can hear it and intercept it, but you can't talk about it. All kinds of spy numbers, there's spy stuff that's out there to listen to. Ship to ship, ship to shore. Anything in the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, air shows, all that kind of stuff. It's just super fascinating. And that's just these are radio frequencies that are available in common knowledge. You can go to ham radio websites and they'll just give you the frequencies. But on the other hand, the really good stuff, it's called search mode. So the way that works is the government of all the countries designates subbands where, in other words, the police or aircraft are only going to broadcast in this subband, like say 106 to 108. I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly, but it's pretty close. But if you put your radio on scan between 106 and 108, you're going to pick up all kinds of the regular stuff, but there's going to be frequencies in there that are really, it can be anything. I'm not talking about aircraft now. I'm talking about military stuff and really juicy stuff. You find out which bands those are and put it in search, and believe me, you're going to find stuff, and it's amazing. It's really cool. You got ship, you can listen to professional fishing boats, professional cruise boats. I'm a nautical kind of person. Anything with the water, you know, you can listen to how the pro fishermen are doing out there, and it's a fascinating hobby. It just goes on and on. Anything you can possibly conceive of in your mind that humans communicate with radio can be listened to on these two radios, that as long as it's not scrambled. So if you're looking for a really fun, absorbing way, this really gets into you, this hobby, consider monitoring shortwave and VHF, UHF frequencies and above as a hobby. It's really fun, and you'll be surprised at what you can hear on these things. And that will be it for this edition. My name is Paul K. This has been Saturday Mornings Outdoors. This is a change of pace. Usually I'm out hunting or fishing, but I like to throw these curveballs in every now and then, and especially when we're snowed in like this, it's a good option to have a good, really fun hobby to get into. So if you like, please hit that like button and subscribe. And I'd also like to say this is the beginning of 2026. Thank you to all my subscribers and all the people that tune in here. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys are everything. And Happy New Year's to you. So with that, as always, don't forget, say your prayers. See ya.